Hello beautiful people and welcome to my channel. It's your girl Janey, aka Janey of Canada. And on this channel, you know we talk about everything life as an immigrant. So career, getting your money, settling down, being fly, this is where it's at. So if you're new, where have you been? And if you're returning, it's good to see you. If you're new, please subscribe because I promise you it's all fun, banter, and a lot of knowledge and learning here. You get me. Okay guys, so today I actually cannot believe the conversation we're about to have. I have a client of mine, a dear friend and family member right now who has moved to Canada. Okay, beautiful people, I know the title gave it away. We actually have somebody who has moved to Canada. Like, I can tell you the story, but I actually brought this person to talk about how their PR, their permanent residency process took 3 months, legit, in a pandemic. I know, and I can spill the tea. I can be here telling you, oh my god, my client is amazing, I did this, they did that. It's not even like, that's not going to justify what happened. So I'm just going to ask her all the questions I know you have and are thinking about how this worked. And follow along the story, because if you're in the process of, oh, I want to apply to Canada, I'm not sure where to start, this video is going to be very helpful for you. Or if you're in the pool and you've been in the pool forever and it feels like, what's going on, this video is going to be helpful for you. And if you're like, what is Canada, I'm just here browsing, again, going to be very helpful for you. So welcome, get seated, get your tea, get your pen and paper, because this is going to be a fun time. I'm done bantering. Let me just please invite the amazing Chiamaka. Okay, good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Oh my god, you're real, you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to just quickly introduce yourself for the people?
Okay, my name is Chiamaka and I'm from Nigeria, and I moved here 3 months ago.
3 months ago. I can't believe.
Yeah.
So you guys, for your sake, we're going to talk about her PR journey, how like everything happened from, oh my god, what is Canada, to she's here 3 months and settled. She has a job, she has a place, she's in Toronto, and it's 2021 and she's surviving. And I just want to, we'll walk you through that journey. So if you wait to the end, we'll talk a little bit more of how she settled, but we'll start with just talking about her PR journey. So let's actually get into it. So first things first is, when did you start thinking about Canada?
So it was in 2019. I had just moved back home, that's to Nigeria, from the UK.
Okay.
And yeah, I wasn't even thinking of Canada. So my dad and some people around me, they're like, oh, Canada needs people. There are like a couple immigration programs, just try it out. And I wasn't sure. I actually fought it for a few weeks.
You actually fought it? You're like,
yeah, I was like, no, like, yeah, Canada is far, I'm not even thinking about it.
Yes.
But after a while, I was like, you know what do I have to lose? I don't have anything to lose, so I will just give it a try.
What and then you have to lose?
Yeah, and then I got into the pool in August 2019.
Okay, so guys, just take your notes because we're going through timelines. She got into the pool August 2019. Okay, so that people can actually understand a little bit more about your background and see if they even can relate in any way. What's your story? Like, when did you, how many programs or degrees do you have?
Okay, so I'm an accountant.
Okay.
And I've got 2 master's degree from the UK.
Okay.
2 master's degrees, sorry.
It's okay.
From the UK, in finance and accounting.
Okay.
And I'm also a chartered accountant, so I've got an ACC professional qualification.
Okay.
As well. And when I got into the pool, I had 2 years work experience.
Okay.
In accounting.
Okay. And how old are you? Like, are you under 30?
Yes. So
okay.
I'm 28 now.
Okay. So, and you're single?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So she's single. She has a master's degree too. Actually, you have a professional certification, and you got into the pool with 2 years work experience in August 2019. So when you got into the pool, how did you even get into the pool? What was the first step? What did you do?
I had to register for IELTS first.
Okay.
and I had to send my documents to West as well.
Okay.
So the West process was pretty straightforward and easy.
Okay.
I just went on the West website, and then I filled out the form, sent it to my university, and they sent my transcript. So that was pretty straightforward, but it took some time, I think. Then it took about maybe 2 months. Yeah. Then, but the IELTS process, I studied for it, and then I got a tutor a few days to my exam.
Okay.
And yeah, I did really well in that.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll touch on that. So for folks who are like, what pool? Is there some swimming water that people get into? Quickly, let me just pause here to say that if the way the Canadian permanent residency process works is you're ranked. It's first of all for skilled workers. There's the federal skilled workers, the CEC, which is Canadian Experience Class, and the Provincial Nominee Program. I actually won't get too much into that. I have a whole video called Canada PR 101 that explains the whole process, so you can follow that. But if you are already quite savvy about the process, then please follow on. But the whole idea of the pool really is you are placed in a pool of candidates based on certain factors, so like your human capital factors, are you single, are you married, your English test scores, your age, your career experience, education, things like that, and you're ranked against different people. And you are given a number, which usually is based on that number that the Canadian government decides on who is getting invited to apply.
Yeah.
So once you got into the pool in August 2019, what was your score?
My score was 453.
Okay.
Because at that time I had 2 years work experience.
Yeah.
But I had a master, so I got high points for education.
Okay.
I was below 30, so I got the highest score for age.
Okay.
And then I did well on my English test as well.
Okay.
So I got good scores for that. So I think the only thing I didn't get the highest score for was for work experience, because at that time I had 2 years work experience.
And at that time they were probably calling what scores?
So at that time they were calling 470,
Okay.
480.
Yeah, so like higher than you.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did you do then?
So I just forgot about it.
So I think this is one key point.
Yeah.
Like, set it and live it. If not, your hypertension will just be out of this world.
Yeah, because before I got into the pool, they picked like 450, 460. But then after I got into the pool, it was 470, 480.
It feels like, why me?
Yeah, and I just felt like, oh, they would never go as low as 450 something.
Okay.
So I really just forgot about it. I went on making other plans. I was like, yeah, this isn't happening.
Just when you thought you're losing hope, and then
1 year later, well, yeah, in August 2020, on a bad day, I had a bad day, and I received the best news. I received an email saying I received an invitation to apply.
wow.
So that is,
Talk about God coming in like,
yeah.
let me make your day better.
So that's like saying, hey, come apply to become a permanent resident.
And at that time, when you've just been in the pool for a year now and time has passed because you're still in that job, what did your score grow to?
Oh yeah, that's true. So my score, this is one thing, because I thought I had to manually go update my profile to say, hey, now I've got 3 years work experience. But somehow, I think my score automatically updated.
Yes.
And my score increased to 486.
Wow.
Yeah, 486.
So from 453, from being in the pool 1 year, you got to 486. If there's any lesson, if you want to stop this video at this point, but first of all, you have to like and subscribe. But if you want to stop this video at this point, your lesson today, like if you're done, it's okay. Just go get in the pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely go get in the pool, because yeah, I would say don't overthink it, just get into it. Because if I didn't get into the pool then, yeah, we probably wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So yeah, because I wasn't even thinking about it. I just got into the pool and I forgot about it.
Yes, set it and leave it. And just really quickly, before you leave the video, I'm kidding, don't leave, stay to the end. Before you, the only two things really you need to get in the pool is starting I'll say start doing your education credential assessment. Like do that. You don't need that to get in the pool, but start doing it because that takes a while. But the main thing you need really is your English examination test, which is usually IELTS if you're outside of Canada, and CELPIP if you're in Canada. And then once you have your scores, get in the pool. That's all you need. Everything else you already know about yourself. And so when you got in August 2020 on that bad day, the government of Canada is like, I bestow upon you an invitation to come to Canada. What did you do next?
Yeah, so when I received an invitation, I was like, first thing, so yeah, they said I had 3 months to submit an application. Typically, I think it's 2 months to 60 days.
Yes.
But because of COVID,
we were in the thick of a pandemic, and Canada was having it bad in 2020. Yes.
So they said, oh yeah, we would increase it to 90 days. So that's 3 months. So I had 3 months, and I knew that I needed a lot of documents. I needed to submit.
You know what's also funny? Sorry to cut you, but I also know that they weren't handing a lot of ITAs to federal skilled workers during the pandemic. So there's a lot of miracles going on already. In case you haven't cut the theme, but please continue.
So they gave me 90 days, and when you receive something like that, you just want to do it well.
Yes.
Right? So I was like, okay, what do? I need help. I don't want to ruin this. I need to submit a perfect application. And then I went, I searched online. I saw contact of immigration consultants.
Okay.
And I contacted them, but
dun 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 dun.
they billed me.
How much are we talking?
$5,000. Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do next?
So I knew that I wouldn't pay that, right? I mean, I'm used to DIYing stuff like this, but I just also wanted to get this right.
You don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
Yes. Makes
so
sense.
I was just like, nope, I'm not paying $5,000 to do this. And then I remembered Janey
of Canada.
Yeah, I remembered her, and I'm like, you know what? I always see her videos. I see her on Instagram, but I don't know if she actually helps people with application and stuff. So I contacted her, and I'm like, hey, I just received an ITA. Do you help with like submitting an application? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I mean, we got talking and we started the process.
And for less than 10% of whatever she just said, I supported the process. And so what was the next thing we did when you were ITA?
Yeah, so we worked on getting all my documents together first.
Yeah.
Because your express entry profile is kind of moved into your PR application profile. Yeah. But you just have to update some things. So I think the big thing was getting the documents.
So everything you say in the things when they ask you questions like, oh, you went to this school, where did you get your degree? What's your English language test score? You say all those things because you click on it. Now it's time to actually provide evidence of the things you've said, okay?
Exactly,
Okay, and so what in that application process, like getting those letters, how long did it take you to get all those documents?
So, just to say, like, before I started, I was really worried because I thought it would take me forever and I wouldn't even be able to get some things. But when I started, it actually took me about 2 months or less, really. In total, I would say less. I was just being extra, and then it extended into 2 months. But I would say about a month plus. Of course, because I had lived in different countries, so I just had to get police report from different countries. But if you've lived in just one country, straightforward, just get a police report. Oh yeah, I also had to do medicals.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they instructed you on all of that stuff. Yes.
It was, again, because it was in the thick of the pandemic, and I mean, since COVID happened, everything has been unusual. Yeah. So that was another thing that made me a bit worried. Yeah, everything went well. I was able to get an appointment. Luckily at that time in my country they had opened up the medical appointment, so I was able to get that. I got my police report, got my credentials. Yeah. We filled out the application. And I had to get a letter of employment from my company. Exactly. As well.
This is a piece you sometimes you need second eyes around, because one thing that I remember we focused on your application was looking at your NOC code and making sure that it matches what your job description is. Because sometimes if you use the wrong one, because express entry is usually for NOC codes 0A and B.
Yeah.
And say you mistakenly use one that's C or use one that doesn't match the exclusions, you might actually get in trouble. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, I think the employment letter was the big one, and then proof of funds as well.
Speaking about proof of funds, what was one thing that you were like, I don't know?
Because so there's this requirement where you have to have money. So it's set amount of money in your account. I think, and they say you have to have it like for 6 months.
Correct.
To submit your application.
That's right.
And when I received my ITA, I didn't have that money. So I think that was my biggest.
I remember when you were like, I've not had it, but I was like, we'll figure it out, yeah.
Yeah, and we ended up doing a deed, what's it called?
A gift deed.
Yeah, a gift deed, yeah.
So what that means pretty much is if you still have your legal guardians or your parents and you've been in their custody, they can actually bestow upon you a certain amount of money and saying, hey, and I think you got that yours from your dad, and you just signed to say, she's my daughter, I support her with this amount, she's still pretty much under my care. So you didn't have to have the entire 13K because your parents could support with that.
And I know someone else who was supported by his uncle. So it doesn't even have to be your parents
or your guardian. Okay.
It could be an uncle, an auntie.
Yeah, as long as sometimes, like once in a while, I've heard of some situations where the CBSA will now check upon when the PR is giving to make sure you still have that money, and it wasn't like you were giving and taking back, but you were able to use the gift deed and that worked. So for everyone who's thinking, oh my god, everything needs to line up before I get in the pool, like, I need to have that amount already, I need to have that. When you reach the bridge, you will cross it. What's the worst that would happen? You can't make the deadline. Okay, you start again, but don't think you have to get everything ready, printed out, ready to go before you actually start the application.
I didn't have anything when I received my ITA. Like I said, I had forgotten about everything. So when I received my ITA, I didn't have anything. And within a month, I was able to put all my documents together.
Beautiful. And that's another thing that was very synonymous with my story. Even though you're given that 16, 90 days, whatever it is, depending on the time, if you've been working diligently to look at the documents required, you would have started gathering them before you asked, so that if you submit in a shorter time than you're requested, they start to process your application faster, which I think happened in your case, because once you now submitted before the deadline, when did you get your proof of permanent residency, or rather passport request?
So I submitted in October.
Yes.
2020, and I received a passport request in January. Beginning of January, so on the 5th of January to be precise.
Wow, 5th of January 2021. I remember before we submitted your application, you were like, let's look it over again. And I was like, should I press send? I was like, press send, you're good to go. So it's always good to definitely have second eyes. But I remember in January, like, I just got it.
And funny story. I received that email and I thought it was scam. Did I tell you?
You did. You're like, I don't know if it's real.
I didn't even believe it, because I thought in a pandemic, like, typical average processing time is 6 months.
Typically. Exactly.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's in the pandemic, so it will be like 1 year.
Yes.
And then within 3 months, I got it. So I was like, no, this is not real.
This cannot be real. And I remember you told me about that, because the thing about CIC emails too is it has like a lot of consonants. It's like cic.gc.ca.pr.xq, like it looks spammy. So you're like, wait, is this real? And then there's also like /French, so like, I can imagine. And so were you already gathering your life together, getting ready to move, or how did you have to start getting ready? Because again, this was still thick of pandemic. In Canada, we were in a lockdown.
Again, because I wasn't expecting it then, I had made no plans. Like, I had no plans. And as soon as I received the passport request, I think I just started trying to. So of course, first thing, I had to send my passport.
Correct.
I sent my passport, and I just had to wait to receive it back before I even started, because I know that you have a couple months. So when you send your passport, you get a visa that says, you have between 60 to 90 days to land
in Canada. So you're given like a confirmation of permanent residency that when you land with, it triggers the process for them to start granting you like a permanent residency card. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think they gave it 6 months or something like that because it was August. You were supposed to land.
Actually, the date is your
the day you
medical. Okay. The anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of your medical.
Interesting. We're learning new things. Okay.
So it's usually the 1 year anniversary of your medical. So mine was in August 2021.
Yes.
And okay, so this was the hardest part of my process.
Tell me about it.
So when I sent my passport, I thought typically it should come back within like 15 working days. That's 3 weeks, but it didn't. It took 3 months. Yeah.
It took 3 months to get your passport back.
Because again,
we were in the pandemic. So if you're watching this, to be honest, I know there's a ton of people who are
still waiting
in limbo. Like there's such a backlog. Like I hope, like I'm releasing this video in this period because I want you to know that it will still come. Like just try to distract yourself with other things. It's not like you're forgotten, but it's going to come.
And that's why my story is a miracle. For me, it's just God, because I know people who submitted way before I did, and they're still waiting. Yes. And I sent my passport in January. I didn't receive it until the 30th of March. Okay. Or beginning of April. I can't really remember, but I know it took 3 months. Those were the hardest 3 months
of this entire process. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just had to keep waiting.
The wait is not fun.
And you're not even 100% sure until you have your passport in your hand.
And I remember I kept telling her, listen, because once they ask for your passport, it's a go. Like, because if they don't ask for your passport, you'd be like, okay, anything can happen. But you're like, it still doesn't. I get it.
You just want to see it.
You want to see it. See it believe it. You're like, Thomas, you want to like pump that one.
Yeah, so I was just like, I need my passport. And some people were like, oh no, send it. Request it, send it to this country because this country they're really slow. That country,
like, oh, don't do Ghana, do Kenya. Yeah.
So at some point I was actually tempted because I heard that Cairo was faster. So I wanted to
withdraw.
Withdraw my passport.
What did you send it to, Ghana or Kenya?
I sent mine to London.
To London. Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I just decided to wait and I got it back.
I've heard of a tip, but I haven't tested this out with any of clients or anything like that. But sometimes once you've applied for your PR, you can ask for something called a GCMS note to find out where your application is being processed. So that way, when they ask for your passport request, you're sending it directly to that office as opposed to just sending it to CIC and hoping that they will reroute it. But again, don't quote me on that. I'm not an immigration consultant like I always tell you guys, so do your own due diligence. Okay, continue.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I finally received my passport back in March, and then round 2 of the waiting. I thought, when I receive my passport, I'll pack my bags, move to Canada, and it's all over. But no. COVID said no because
COVID said no.
Hey. I think that was when
the lockdown
Canada had the 3rd wave. I think. Yeah. They were and the cases kept increasing. Yeah, no flights. They banned anyone coming in
from certain countries too. Yes, I remember that.
So I was just like, okay, and remember my visa expiry date was in
August.
So I think this part was actually the hardest because
I told you that was the hardest, but scratch that.
Yeah, this was actually the hardest because I had it in my hand. I had everything, but I just couldn't go. And then I had to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. It was long. For me, the big thing was I didn't just want my visa to expire.
Yes.
Because that would mean having to kind of do the process again.
And apply, yes. Exactly.
So, I was really panicking, and then I just always looked out for any updates.
Yes.
I kept checking the news, kept checking everywhere, and finally, sometime in June, I think you were the one who sent it.
I sent it to you. I remember that WhatsApp.
On a good day, I was working, and then I saw she sent something. She was like, "You can come to Canada now."
Yes.
Like, no way.
I actually sent that message. I remember that message very well. I was like, ah! I was like, oh my gosh, you can come to, yeah.
So I think they said they gave exemptions to people like me who had COPR but
That hadn't expired.
Yeah,
exactly.
that hadn't expired, exactly. So within 1 week, I was like, I have to pack my bags and everything before they change their mind. So,
and I remember you were so skeptical.
Yeah.
That I was like, okay, don't worry. Like, I would even pause you for a little bit, like, come, because you're like, are you sure? Are you sure I shouldn't
Exactly.
go? I remember. Oh my god, look at this has been like months now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I packed my bags immediately. I had everything. So I had my COPR, I had my passport, and then got on a flight.
And she's here.
And by the way, when I landed, because it was like neck deep in the pandemic, I had to. Then they had the whole hotel quarantine.
Yeah, she has to quarantine for 3 days.
Yeah, COVID test at the airport. So a lot of like normal experiences for people like new PR people.
All the stuff that go welcome you at the airport and do stuff. Work
yeah.
was not happening. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't really get that, but it was still good because it was amazing at immigration where they were like, "Congratulations, you're now a permanent resident
of Canada." Oh my god, this is beautiful. I am so excited. And I think, thank you so much for sharing your story. But this is the fun part. This is where it gets fun. Now you've been around for 3 months.
Yeah.
In Toronto, Ontario. Actually, let me scratch that. Let me say it like a proper Canadian. You've been around in Toronto, Ontario, which, as you guys, you know, if you watch one of my videos where I talked about like, oh my god, life in Toronto is hectic. A lot of people are saying, no, Toronto, Ontario specifically, especially in 2020, 2021, and I'm going to tell you guys about this, it's like so tough when it comes to housing affordability and finding a job, but you actually have been able to do those things. She found a place in less than 2 weeks of being in Toronto, which I was like, girl, good luck, you're going to be in an Airbnb for a month. But then, and you also have found a job. I know we're cutting it really close to time, but in the last 5 minutes, tell us about that process of settling down.
Okay, so
what helped you, what didn't help you?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that helped me was having people, having a community, right? I mean, before I came here, I didn't know a lot of people here in Canada, but at least I knew you, and I knew someone else. And then finding a place, I searched everywhere, and of course, as a newcomer, it's a bit difficult because sometimes people need they need like an employer reference, or they need a credit score or something, and you don't have those things. So thankfully, thank God, I found somewhere, and it was someone that helped me. So someone found somewhere. But I would say like so he found that place on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah. So I think for me, the big advice is just explore every option. So there are websites, different places.
Yes, and
people would know that you find a good accommodation on Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. That's why people go to buy chairs and tables.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I found mine on Facebook Marketplace, so that was really, really helpful. And then for the job, I ended up getting, so where I live, I got my landlord referred me at her job.
Chiamaka. And what are the odds? Because I remember you came and we were talking about like career things, and like you guys know I've talked about this a lot of times, where like 80% of roles in Canada are filled by referrals and by your network, and it was just such a miracle, and I'm still in awe of it that the person who you found to be your landlord had a very similar story, being that she also was an accountant who also had the UK experience and was like, let me introduce you to my firm. Meanwhile, we're talking about all the associations and networks you have to join for accountants to actually get your foot in the door. So I'm saying like all of this you couldn't have thought about in August 2019 when you got in the pool.
Yeah.
None of that. Right?
Definitely.
And so like your story is just a testament of one, God's grace, to be honest, and actually just taking a step, putting one foot in front of the other, and patience with the process. and also finding a community and somebody to have like second eyes. And that's what we're trying to create. So you guys, like I've mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. We're creating a network of professional immigrants where you can find people like Chiamaka in Canada to support you with that process. We're also going to be doing trainings and learnings on like career readiness, how to apply for your PR in like a group setting. We've actually paired with immigration consultants and immigration lawyers to support you on this journey, and I'm super excited. I know. And yes, Chiamaka is going to be on the platform, so she doesn't. I'm telling her right now, she doesn't have a choice. But no, thank you so much for sharing your story. Like, we just want to talk more. Yeah. If you have any questions specifically or any part of this story you want us to dig deep for, say part 2, let me know in the comments. I promise you, I'll drag her back. I promise you. I hope this was really helpful. Is there anything like final words you want to say?
I would say just start the process. And for people who are here and you're still looking for a job, I would say go out and network. And I'm glad the platform you're creating would actually help people do that.
Correct. And I'll put the link in the description of everything I've said, the videos that you can use to support you on the journey. Thank you so much for joining. And if you even just like need, some people are like, oh my god, I can't afford an immigration consultant. You know, like if you have a 30-minute pointed conversation with a professional like myself, you might have all you need to actually DIY the process. And then trust me, the amount you think you'll pay for getting professional help might save you months and waiting in the pool just because somebody else has guided you with things like getting what documents right, what NOC code, who to sign what. But pretty much pray about it and start your journey. And I can't wait to say welcome to Canada, right?
Right.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. As I usually say, have a blessed what? Have a blessed week. Take care.
Bye.